Hey guys, what's up? I'm back with another video here on YouTube. So in this case, this is a new clay sculpture video. This clay sculpture will be obviously my new master design. Here's this sketch right here, Defile. We will not be using my sketchbook for this video. I pretty much scanned that sketch and obviously placed it in my computer right here, and then I pretty much dragged it over to my second monitor screen, which is my Cintiq 13 HD. This is what I use for my digital art. But anyways, here's the sketch. So here's the file. You will notice that this is a mouthpiece design. So this one is different than the ones I've made in the past, mainly because it's a full head mouthpiece design. So you will notice that not only it covers the mouth, but also the back of the head as well as the top. You will also notice a slight change in design when you see the actual sculpture in a sec. But this is pretty much Defile. It's actually, this design right here is actually motivated by one of my custom masks that I did. And that custom mask, if you guys remember, it was Sinner. It was a pure black, full around mouthpiece design. It was designed by Don D'Amato. So that was a while back. That pretty much inspired me to create my own full around mouthpiece design. So it was really cool. It was pretty much the reason why I created this. You know, I wanted to create my own full head mouthpiece. All right. So without further ado, I present you Defile, my newest mask design as of April 2014. So here we have it, guys. This is Defile, my newest clay sculpture mask design. I will be molding this real soon. You will also notice that it got a bit darker, mainly because I turned off my second light right there on my left. So the reason why I did that is so you guys can simply see the details of this thing, because it creates the shadows. So right now I only have one light right here, and that's pretty much what's lighting this whole thing up. And you can really see the details, and it really looks badass. Okay, so yeah, here's Defile. This took me, I think, around 6 months to finish, you know. And right now, as you all know, I'm about to graduate in the Art Institute of Los Angeles. I'm gonna graduate with a bachelor's degree on visual effects and motion graphics, and pretty much that's what's been taking my time this past year. I'm in this class called Demo. It's pretty much a portfolio class, and that is really sucking up most of my time. So this is why these past months I haven't been working much on my masks and videos, mainly because of that reason. You know, I'm just extremely busy right now. I mean, I was busy last year, but something about this year is really weighing me down, and that's pretty much my class. You know, I'm about to graduate, so I'm pretty much working on my portfolio reel right now, okay, which I will actually upload on YouTube, and it will obviously be in my site. You know, I'll post it a couple times on my fan page as well on Facebook. All right, so that's pretty much what's been eating up most of my time. So that's one of the reasons why it took me a while to finish this piece. The other reason why it took me a while to finish this is because of its nature and detail. You will quickly notice that every surface of this thing is covered in detail, and that's pretty much what my intentions were when I first sketched it out. You'll notice that there's hardly any details here in the sketch. This is just a rough sketch, so I know what this thing is supposed to look like. Okay, so the details were actually pretty challenging, mainly because everything is symmetrical. Okay, that's pretty much my weakness in terms of sculpting. Pretty much when you're sculpting in ZBrush, if you guys don't know ZBrush, it's pretty much a 3D sculpting program in the computer. There's a button in ZBrush that allows you to symmetrically sculpt, so you don't have to sculpt the other side. And that button is X on the keyboard. Well, unfortunately, that doesn't exist in real life when you're sculpting clay. So you have to actually mirror every single detail manually. Okay, So that's pretty much the challenge here. So every detail you see on this side will also be in the other side. Okay, so I had to do a lot of measurements and stuff and whatnot. I use my handy dandy caliper tool right here. No one really uses this. I don't think. This is a really old tool, but some people, of course, they still use it. It's pretty much a tool that measures proportion and distance. So it's simple. You go like that, you go like that, you know. You guys know the rest. So it's a real simple tool. Got this a long time ago. So that's pretty much what I use to help me measure and know where to put the details from one side to the other. All right, and also not to mention, this is not your regular design. This is not the design that I usually do. Okay, this is it's supposed to be like a cyborg to some extent. So I will obviously would need to make it look like a robot to an extent. So you'll notice that it's pretty much like a person that's inside like this machine. You know, that's pretty much the theme that I was going for. Okay. So that's that. So, you know, let's talk about the detail. So again, you'll notice that there's a lot of detail going on. I pretty much use my simple sculpting tools right here. I use a variety of tools actually to achieve certain shapes and lines and whatnot, certain shapes of carving out lines. So it was really fun, most of all. But again, it was the symmetry part that was really, you know, it's pretty challenging. You know, you just have to know what you're doing to really get that look, and that's that. You also notice that there's a slight change in design from that to here. When I was first designing Defile and when I was first sculpting Defile, he wasn't supposed to have this right here, like this eyepiece. It was supposed to be a bare face so they can see your real eyes, you know, your eyebrows. That wasn't the case, and the reason why I sculpted something underneath is because, I don't know, it didn't really look right to me. It honestly did not look right. It may look cool in the drawing, but when I actually did it in sculpture, it didn't really look right to me. So that's why I, you know, sculpted something underneath. And what do you know? It actually looked better. I mean, look at that. Also, another design change was there's no middle piece right here. You will notice that there's a middle piece right here that unifies the bottom piece and then the upper piece. Again, that wasn't supposed to be there. This wasn't supposed to be there, and the two you know, eyes aren't supposed to be there as well. So this is what the final outcome is, and this is just proof on how far you can go in sculpting. You know, when someone I don't know if anyone does this, but I do it personally for my personal designs. When I draw something, I am not expecting the drawing to be exactly, I'm not expecting the sculpture to be exactly like the drawing. Okay, when I'm doing my personal original designs, I always try my best to get lost within what I'm doing. So the sketch pretty much just serves as the basis for my sculpture, and then from the rest, that's when I start sculpting, you know, whatever it is pops in my head and whatever looks good, as long as I stay to the basis of the design, in which I did, as you can tell. All right. Also, another thing I want to talk about is inspiration. So some of you might be wondering the inspiration behind this. Now again, this was motivated by one of my custom masks that I did in the past. So that was pretty much the raw drive that made me want to do a design, you know, that covers the whole entire head, and it's, you know, a mouthpiece. So pretty much the inspiration behind this, other than my custom mask, Sinner, I actually studied the patterns and details of this artist that I'm sure most of you should know, H.R. Giger. I'm sure it's pronounced as Giger. He's pretty much the guy that made Alien. Like, he designed the Alien, and if you guys look through his stuff is mostly industrial, you know, dark industrial type stuff. It's really awesome. I was pretty much studying that for like a week or so before I did this sculpture, and that's pretty much where I got the details from. You know, it's just repetition of lines, and usually repetition will actually give you that look if you're doing something robotic or cyborg like what I have right here. All right, so again, it's repetition. You need to repeat certain things if you really want it to look complicated. Now, is it really complicated? It's not really complicated. You know, it's just a bunch of patterns put together to make it look cool, you know, make it work together as a whole. You'll also notice there's a certain flow of details. So you notice how the lines are traveling this way, lines right here are going that way, and it continues there, got lines going there, you know, it's on the flow, okay? Now, of course, not all mask designs or sculptures will look like this. I'm just saying, when you're doing something like this, you really need to know pattern and certain types of details to get what you want to get, or to get what you want, pretty much. All right. Now, also, if you guys are questioning the big brain right here, the fully exposed brain, the reason why I want to do a fully exposed brain, not only to support the symbolism behind the sculpture, which I will talk about in a sec, the reason why I also want to do a fully exposed brain, the reason why I want to do this is mainly because for future alternates, if I ever come up with an alternate that needs a fully exposed brain, well, what do you know? I have a design right here that has a fully exposed brain. So I'll simply just cast this brain out separately from its plaster mold, and then, you know, use that for whatever mask I want to use it for. So do you guys get what I'm saying? So that's really cool. I've never done a fully exposed brain before, so the only times I sculpt a brain is for my Freakshow. I remember, I think it was Freakshow 4, 5, I think, as well. Any freak shows before the 7th one, it usually had a piece of brain exposing. So this one is different because it's obviously a full brain, which was really fun to sculpt. It was also challenging because, you know, it has to look in a certain way, okay? And if you're sculpting realistically, like I do most of the time, I'm not really a huge fan of cartoon like stuff. I always go for realism on mines. You obviously need reference, a lot of reference. I have references right there. I don't know if you guys can see that. So anatomy is extremely important, guys. I know I stress about it a lot, and there's a reason why I stress about it a lot, is because it's that important. If you're aiming for realism, you need reference. Every time you do art, you need reference, okay? So that's that. So let's talk about the symbolism, like what this mask is all about. You know, this one is actually pretty interesting, is because mainly because it's pretty much what I'm going through at the moment, and I'm sure some of you go through as well. So it's really interesting how the masks that I do at the moment usually reflects my current life in some way in the present time. So to summarize this, there's a quote by Mahatma Gandhi. I don't really remember the quote by word, but he pretty much says, be careful with your thoughts, because your thoughts will create your words. Be careful with your words. Your words will create actions. Be careful with your actions. Your actions will make your character. And then the point of that quote is pretty much everything that you do in life originates from your head. So if you're always a negative person, what do you expect is going to happen with you? You're going to be a bad person. You might be a very unsuccessful person, mainly because of your thinking, your way of thinking. I'm sure you guys know successful people don't think like that. They will find a way to do what they want to do. They will find a way to be happy. They will find a way to be successful, even if they don't have money or friends. You know, like, they will find a way. There's no excuse, you know. So everything originates from your thought. Okay, that's what's called Defile, because it all starts with your brain, you know, your thoughts, what's going on inside you. You know, you can be living a good life at the moment, and then all of a sudden something happens that defiles your thoughts, that ruins your thoughts, that spoils your thoughts, and all of a sudden you're not really looking at life in a good way. Okay, so it all really originates to you. You know, it's like the optimism versus pessimism kind of deal. And to further support my symbolism for this design, so you'll notice that the brain is actually, from what it looks like, it's actually hooked up to these organic veins that comes from the actual, you know, the actual mechanism that this design is wearing. You'll notice that it's connected to both sides. You know, you got the left side and the right side, of course. So it's connected to this device, and the device is also connected to the eyes right here, as well as the mouth, the jaw. So again, same idea from Gandhi's quote. Everything connects. Everything starts with your head, and that's pretty much what these tubes are. So the brain is the reason why this person is the way he is. So that's why I also did some infectious details right here to make it look like that he's not really an average person anymore. Like by wearing this device on his head, by thinking negatively, he's affecting how he looks like as well underneath. So that's why his eyes have like these wrinkles, pretty cool. I like what I did here. So yeah, hopefully you guys get the symbolism. That's pretty much what started me with this design. Like that was one of the reasons for my drive of making this design. So that was really fun. So yeah, that's that. That's Defile. That's Defile's symbolism. That's Defile's soul. And also, one thing I forgot to talk about is how this mask will actually work when it's an actual mask that you can wear. So obviously this is a full head latex design. Remember, I only use silicone when it's a full head design. When I mean full head, I mean as long as the sculpture goes up to your chest and shoulders. Oh, I'm sorry, not shoulders, up to the neck and then to the chest. I usually cast those in silicone. Okay, now designs like this, I usually cast them in latex. Okay, now once this is casted in latex, some of you are probably wondering how you're gonna wear it. Well, similar to my latex skull designs in the past, it's simply going to be casted in latex with a thick consistency, because I like my latex masks thick. Okay, in fact, I actually have a tutorial for how to make your latex masks thick. That's pretty much my way of doing it. You guys should totally check it out in my tutorials in my YouTube channel. So once this is cast in latex, it's pretty simple. I mean, the only one thing this design will have, similar to the skull designs I've done in the past that were casted in latex, they're gonna have a slit right here. Okay, originally I wanted this to have straps right here, but then I realized it's gonna cover up the detail. Okay, so what I did was, what I'm planning on doing is, once this is casted, pretty much gonna cut it right here and stop right there, because if I keep going, it's gonna cut into the brain, and it wouldn't really look right to me personally. So that's why I have this organic tubes right here. So they're pretty much cover up for the slit, the line. Oops. But that's pretty much how it's gonna work. And some of you are wondering if this is gonna have a movable jaw. No, it will not. Okay, this is designed to not have a movable jaw. Of course, I can make it into a movable jaw on a future alternate maybe, but above all, since this is the original design, like the original mask, I didn't really design this to have a movable jaw. Okay, and I believe that's it, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this. This is one of those pieces that are really memorable to me, mainly because it took a while to complete and it was really challenging, as you can probably tell right here. So hopefully you guys were really informed from that. Hopefully you guys learned something as well. And I'm really excited to mold this, make this into the mask that I wanted it to be, based on that drawing right there. And I believe that is it, guys. Please leave a like, comment, favorite, subscribe, share this to your other artist friends, or whatever. Please like my fan page, show your support. That'll be www.facebook.com/Juan Freakshow Caparas. And also, please check out my official website. That'll be www.juanfreakshowcaparas.com. And also, if you guys have Twitter, please follow me on Twitter if you want exclusive updates on anything that I do as an artist. Alright, so that'll be twitter.com/evilsaw13, and all those 3 links that I've just mentioned will always be in the description of my videos, as always. And I think that's it, guys. So thank you for watching this video, show your support, and I'll see you guys in the next video.